Because of its size, diversity, democracy and history, it is exceedingly difficult to compare India with any other nation. But this becomes even more challenging when the comparison is made with Pakistan, a nation which in many dimensions appears to function quite differently than India. As soon as the Prime Minister of India had ended his speech at the UN General Assembly, comparisons were quickly made on Twitter, evaluating his speech with the speech that had been delivered earlier by the Pakistani Prime Minister. As usual, in a country like India, with differing political viewpoints and ideologies, the importance of self-criticism and self-questioning cannot be ignored. But some Pakistani netizens appear to be focusing mainly on 2 points from the Indian Prime Minister's speech. First, the mention of open defecation in the Indian Prime Minister's speech, and second, by claims that by not mentioning Pakistan in its UNGA speech, India showed cowardice. Well, to some people it may appear that Pakistan was not mentioned in the speech that the Indian PM delivered, but a closer second look can also reveal something else. In the Indian PM's speech, the word terrorism was mentioned, and it is well understood that whenever India mentions terrorism on global platforms, quite often it is pointing towards Pakistan. As far as the problem of open defecation is concerned, I do not think that addressing one's own embarrassing problems is a bad thing. India could only improve its poor sanitation situation when it had decided to acknowledge it. Today, India claims that it has made remarkable progress. It can even be said that India's experience can be useful for a country like Pakistan, which itself suffers from the problem of open defecation. Yes, multiple reports have revealed that millions of Pakistanis do not have access to a decent toilet, forcing many of them to defecate in the open. On the UNGA platform, India openly said that it was ready to learn from the world and was also ready to share its experiences with other nations. Also, it shouldn't be forgotten that despite the animosity between the two nations, on multiple occasions, India has helped Pakistan in the past. For example, in the year 2005, when Pakistan was struck by an earthquake, India offered $25 million to the Pakistani government as cash assistance, along with $15 million in in-kind contributions from both private and governmental sources. In year 2010, when Pakistan suffered from massive floods, India offered $25 million to Pakistan so that it could help the flood victims. As an important medical tourism destination, the Pharmacy of the World also saves the lives of many patients who come from the West, Pakistan, China or elsewhere. Indeed, Pakistan shouldn't feel embarrassed to learn or take help from India. As far as the problem of open defecation is concerned, we should also understand that showing genuine concern for a given problem in one nation and negatively stereotyping the entire nation for that problem are two different things. Yes, the problem of open defecation can be embarrassing, but even America has the problem of open defecation and is also trying to resolve it. Human feces are spotted on San Francisco streets regularly, and not all get reported. Among the reported ones, just in 2018, there were more than 28,000 poop sightings. It shouldn't come as a surprise that some people in Western nations are realizing that India's experience can be useful for their nation too. An example of this was seen in the UK, when a London-headquartered newspaper was attempting to take inspiration from India's initiatives, which might help the UK tackle its massive homelessness problem. Coming back to the speeches at the UNGA, several netizens in India were highlighting the contrast in how Pakistan's own newspapers cover the speeches of the two leaders. They noted that a big part of the Pakistani Prime Minister's speech was focused on India, and on the other hand, his Indian counterpart delivered a speech that didn't appear to be primarily focused on one country and highlighted several valid points. But then it doesn't mean that one should ignore the concern that the Pakistani Prime Minister showed about environmental protection. From a big picture perspective, perhaps we humans are more interconnected and interdependent than we have ever been before, and the present situation also serves as a great opportunity to understand each other and remove our differences and misunderstandings. If many Pakistani netizens ridicule India, then it is also true that many Indian netizens go to extreme lengths to ridicule Pakistan. It can even be said that it is only a waste of their creativity and time. A better utilization of their creative energy will only benefit their own countries. India needs more creative minds, as many problems in India are still unresolved, and those which appear to be resolved still need more attention. For example, in terms of quality of sanitation-related infrastructure and in terms of bringing about behavioral changes in people, India still has a long way to go. A few months before the coronavirus-induced lockdown, when I was doing a road trip in rural India, I struggled to find clean and properly functioning toilets in many villages that I went to. Only those who acknowledge and accurately diagnose their problems without overestimating or underestimating them are more likely to find the most effective solutions to fix them. India's brave admission of its embarrassing problems, its track record in serving the global community, its fundamental philosophy of universal familyhood are some of the key factors that make it a deserving contender to play a bigger role in global policy and decision-making.
Excellent video, Carolina, and I think she said about San Francisco, it's the homeless population. I think I heard her say that, which is what it is. The local magistrates, if you will not enforce any kind of misdemeanors in San Francisco. So you can pretty much do what you want as long as it's not a felony. They're not going to enforce it, which causes chaos, right? Making fun of India because of open defecation is silly. And here's why. India is in the middle of a transformation. India, for a long time, had pockets of advanced technology moving towards what we would say modern cities and whatnot. But a lot of India, because of its size, was very rural, very, third world, if you will. And as we see this transformation happening, we see these smart cities, and you see all this stuff like when Shubham sends videos of the drone videos, and you look at these smart cities, and you're like, wow, it's amazing. We got to understand that India is trying to play catch up with its infrastructure, but they already have the growth. Now, it was different in America because as America grew in numbers, we weren't all through the United States. We kind of began to go west, and it gave us an opportunity to lay infrastructure as we went. But just imagine, India's got 1 billion people, and all of a sudden, technology catches up to something, and you got to go back and say, okay, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? I don't think this is anything that India should be embarrassed about. Or listen. Why would we listen to Pakistan, first of all? Pakistan is like the number one, I read somewhere, the number one consumer of bestiality porn. Like, why are we listening to that? Why would you listen to them about anything? Like, Pakistan has its own issues, and I'm not trying to beat up on the Pakistanis, but they have their own issues. India, this is growing pains, man. What do you think happens? What do you think happens when you take and elevate an entire nation of 1.3 billion people? You elevate that. It's going to take time, dude. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Super ridiculous that they would make an issue out of this. Super ridiculous. Who cares? Like, India, it's just going to take time. It's going to take time. It's going to take time for the infrastructure to catch up with the desire of indoor plumbing. It's going to take time for people to realize, this isn't a bad thing to have an indoor toilet or to have an outhouse to go to. Even though our ancestors done it all the time, it's just going to take some time. Good video, Carolina. I think she's very brave for bringing this up because that could go sideways on her. People could get really mad about the content. And I thought she did a good job explaining it. I'll catch you guys later. Peace and much love.
Hello, guys. This is Kareem. I hope you're doing well. And as you know, the professor has resisted Patreon for a long time. But now is the time for Movie Community College to offer Patreon. And you may be asking, why now? Well, for several reasons. One, we want to make documentaries, and those have a cost to them. Two, we want to make short films, and those also will have a cost to them as well. Three, we're going to take legal action, all the proper precautions to do reaction videos. So if you're excited about this and you want to get some amazing swag from Movie Community College and some awesome rewards, then definitely help support Movie Community College by checking out the Patreon link below this video.